Hey, decision makers. Want to stay in the loop with exclusive content and the opportunity to be on the show? Text DECIDE to 218-432-9722 now, and let's get connected today.
Everything worked out and is working out for his will. Like, I know I've found what I need to be doing. As long as I'm intuitive and to hearing from him, he'll continue to direct my path. So just show up. He'll open the door as long as you walk up to it.
Welcome to the Just a Decision podcast, where we speak to our guests about the decisions they made in life, the good, the bad, the regrets, the decisions they're currently making, and the decisions they're going to make for the future. Subscribe, like, comment on the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And remember, we're available on all streaming platforms. Today, I have the honor of introducing Miss Shay Knox. How are you today?
I'm good.
Cool. And I like to make it a personal podcast. And yesterday you shared a fear with me of going over bridges. How was that experience today?
Well, the Lord made a way, honestly, this morning, because I was very fearful of going over bridges. Anybody who knows me knows I don't do bridges. But I don't use the Ben Franklin Bridge that often. So I forgot that when I went over the Ben Franklin Bridge today, I had my songs playing. The Lord was in the midst, and I'm going over the bridge. I'm like, oh, it's like kind of like enclosed, but like no place for my car to run off the road. So I was fine going over the bridge this morning.
Cool. We usually go over the wall, women.
I have no sense of direction, so don't ask me. But I know for sure I don't go over that Ben Franklin Bridge that often. So
okay. So one of the ways we begin the podcast with two questions. The first question is your favorite dish and from where?
My favorite dish overall, I'm probably gonna say anything Italian. Anything pasta, red sauce. I don't eat land animals, so it can't have meat in it. But yeah, go-to will probably anything Italian pasta or sushi.
So where do you get the pasta?
I like what is that? I like Maggiano's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one in Philly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone gives you a blank check. Whatever number you write on it, it's cashing. It's going to be in the checkings, not the savings. What's the first thing you're going to spend it on?
A house for my family. For like my whole family.
Okay. How many rooms?
So my dad needs a room, but probably like on the complete opposite side of my mother.
Okay.
And she would totally probably be against living in the same address as my dad, but her and my stepdad can have, but yeah, probably one house or houses for my family.
Cool.
And then anything my boys need.
Only one person on the podcast so far has said, yeah, I'm using that on myself. And the reason they would use it on themselves is student loans. But everybody else has been
I don't have any student loans.
Wow. I graduated in 2017. I'm still going.
I didn't go to college.
Okay. Well, backtrack. All right, we'll get to that point. But that's cool how life worked out for you, and you're one of those amazing people that didn't go to college, but life worked out.
Yeah.
Because most people say you gotta go to school to get a good job, to get good grades, and then get it. And then you're like, oh man, but was it worth it?
Yeah. No, I did not go to college, and it is one of those things that I still I told my youngest, well, not my youngest son, my oldest son, because I have two. My 10-year-old son, he loves to say, "Well, Mom, you didn't go to college," and I said, "Doesn't matter what I do or didn't do. You're gonna go if the opportunity presents itself. But God willing, I just like to instill in my kids, as long as you're following God's purpose for you. If he leads you in that direction, go for it. If he doesn't, I'm proud of you either way. But yeah, for me, college wasn't in the cards for me. I did get pregnant with my son around that college time, so I chose the route of just kind of thug it out.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
It worked out for me. But it's not that way for everybody. I don't like to paint the picture for everybody that, hey, it's always going to work out. If you don't want to go to college, it doesn't always work out that way. So, yeah.
So now with the trajectory of decisions in life, let's go back as early as you can think of. It might be difficult, but is there any time or any memory when you were a kid when your parents said, don't do something and you did it? Or was there any decision as a child where you remember, this is the first time I decided to do this on my own?
I thought about this question because I've watched your
Mm-hmm.
podcasts. I didn't hear that last portion of the question
Mm-hmm.
where a decision that you made on your own.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna address that part of the question,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to bring it back to probably a monumental decision that I had to make when I was younger. And I would go back as far as where I had to choose to go to high school.
Okay.
And this paved the way for probably until my mid-20s, that one decision. So I was signed up to go to girls' high school in Philadelphia.
Okay.
All through the summer, did my summer reading, did the orientation, all the things. And then a week before, I was notified that I was off of the waiting list for Central High School that was across the street, which is a co-ed school, much larger, a lot more people. Granted, at that point, I don't think I knew myself to know that I would not do well in that kind of environment where there's so many things going on at once. But I wanted to make my dad proud.
Mm.
All of our family went to Central High School. All the family that makes money went to high school at Central High. So I chose to go there. I think looking back, I don't regret it because it obviously landed me for where I am right now. But that's a decision that ultimately paved the way for where I am right now, and also for years to come. I made a lot of decisions based on what my parents, or specifically my dad, would have wanted me to do. Not anymore. Now I feel like my dad calls me.
Okay.
But yeah, that is probably the first decision that I made based on someone else, my father. Now, the first monumental decision that I think I made on my own was to be a mom. Because, I got pregnant at a pretty young age. I was 20. And we all know you can go one or two ways. We weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't married. I had to make a decision, and I made a decision on my own. I remember having a conversation with my mom. You said, you have kids for yourself. You don't have kids for anybody else. So I had to make that decision, and I decided to be a mom. Turned out good, but yeah.
That's awesome. I'm 33 years old and I'm still scared to be a dad. I want to for the experiences, and I see so many people creating families and are happy, but I'm just like, Josh, you can't take care of yourself. How you going to take care of a little you? Because I got so much going on. So to be able to balance the lifestyle I want, but also bringing in a child into the world, it's I guess you could say it's fearful at the same time of, am I ready for this? And I don't know if a lot of people are when they start a family, because it's just, here we go.
Never. Absolutely not. You're never, ever ready. You could be married, all the things. You are never ready to have a child.
Mm. So the decision to go to Central High School, you made that big decision. How was those 4 years of a lot of people have been talking about, that's where a lot of people find their identity in high school. How was that process of going to the bigger school with all those decisions you said you could have made?
That's the problem.
Mm.
I didn't even find my identity in high school.
Wow.
I went back and forth between identities in high school. Hey, I want to hang out with this group of people, or I want to hang out with this group of girls, or no, I like this kind of boy. No, I like this kind of boy. Oh, no, I like school. I want to be hang out with this group of kids, and I want to do work on, this year, but then the next year comes up and I'm like, oh, I hate school. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, I don't think I found my identity in high school. High school for me was very traumatic. It was too much going on. It was way too many people. Come to find out, even in my adult years, I have social anxiety. So so that really, you could see it. If there was a movie played out of my high school years, you could look at it and say, "Yo, she's definitely has social anxiety, like, to the max." But yeah, I don't think I found my anxiety until very later on in my adult years.
Well, just to backtrack, I am so proud of you for being on the podcast and us being strangers. Because on social media, it's like you're vibrant, you're energetic. It's like someone it would be like, I need to be around her more often when people are sad and down. Because I feel like, in the little bit I've known you, you brighten up the room, even if you don't realize it. I feel as though you brighten up the room. Thank you for being on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
Cool. So, you say you didn't find your identity. What were you involved with in high school? So it's like some people work, some people the athlete, some people into the education. What were you involved with? Or was it go to school and go home?
We are deep diving into my traumas right now. But yeah, again, I went back and forth between a lot of things that I want to be in. I ran track for a little bit. I wanted to be an athlete. And I said, no thanks. What else did I do in high school? I did drama for a little bit in high school. Yeah, I teeter-tottered on a lot of things. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint anything for you.
That's cool. But you were trying to get involved to things rather than just like, I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, I tried.
Okay.
Very, 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 very momentarily. I also have a very short attention span, so a lot of things didn't last too long.
Yeah. Last night I was asked a question about stuff like that, and it's me. It's I don't know how to organize my things to do or where my attention should go. So if you think about my plate, the nutrition thing. So it's like this much vegetables, this much wheat, this much meat. Me, it's like everything's equal. So like if you called me and said, "Hey Josh, I need help," and Lamar called me and said, "I need help," I wouldn't know what's the priority, what's the not, because you both are equal.
Oh.
So I'd be like, who needs me first? What time?
Right,
and then I'll be there and then I'll help the next person. So that's I'm trying to map out what's the priorities in my life because I feel like everything's equal. So that's what the most I have trouble with. Like everybody's like, when do you sleep? And I'm like, I really don't.
See, when that happens for me, I'm choosing nothing. I'm retreating. If there's too many things happening at one time and too many folks need me in too many places, it's a no for me. That's not healthy whatsoever. I'm very much aware of that. I'm even shocked that I'm gonna so honest. I'm even shocked that I'm here today.
Wow.
But someone said, get up. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing this. I'm making a way for you to go. I've cleared your schedule. You need to get up and go and have this conversation with Josh. So here we are.
Wow. Well, again, I'm gonna keep thanking you. I don't know if a lot of people I'm learning they enjoy the confirmation, but our reiteration. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
Cool. So we get to graduation of high school, and then it must be difficult to not. I knew who I was probably in the 10th grade, so I knew what I wanted to do in life. I didn't know exactly what, but I was the outgoing guy. I wanted to talk to everybody, and my big thing, I like helping people. If I could pick a job, it would be to volunteer but get paid. So to be able to be helping multiple organizations, but like one person paying me, it's like, who needs help today? But it's unrealistic to get paid to volunteer. But I would love to just 1 month be here, 1 month be there, and 1 month. So after graduation, how did that feel? Like that going into adulthood?
It's not funny. It's not funny, but sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. But that's a blessing for you to know who you were at such a young age. Shortly after high school, I got pregnant with my son. So I dove right into life. And life took me and spun me around so much that honestly, I can't even look back and tell you what happened because I don't remember. It's a lot of a blur until I actually found my identity like later on, and I wouldn't even say like later on, it's like as of recently, probably within the last 2 years, honestly, where I found who I really am. But yeah, so I dove into survival mode. I became a single mother very fast. So I'm diving back and forth between jobs, trying to figure out where I want to be, where I want to stay. Very dead end jobs, like very just like get ends met. Is food on the table? Is my is my child happy? Is he fed? Very bare minimum. Low key hoping he doesn't remember a lot of things from age 1 to 5, but he's happy now, and that's it on that one. I lost track. Sorry, ADHD kicking in.
No, you're good. You're good. So,
bring me back in.
yeah, you're good. So you said single mom. Did you have a support system as a single mom, or like you were by yourself trying to just figure it out?
Did I have a support system? Yes. Yes and no. I'm gonna say that. Like my parents aren't like nowhere to be found, but they're very much still young grandparents, still living their own life, like they have to work. I don't have parents that are retired and ready to take care of grandkids. So yeah, I would say that my mom, for a big chunk of my son's like newborn stage, she was there. I lived with her for a while until I moved out on my own. About a year after he was born. So she was there. She's still there. I can call my mom whenever I want to, go visit her. She loves pouring gifts on the grandkids and feeding and filling their bellies up. But I was very much alone for years. Again, everything is a blur, but I do remember being in my apartment. Just me and my son. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Germantown, by ourselves, for a long time. His dad popped in and out. It was very traumatic when he would pop in, and pop out. But yeah, support system wise, my parents were there. I think my dad actually lived around the corner from my first apartment, so I knew I could always call him up. But I very much was and still am. I'm not going to be a burden to people, and I felt like me and my kids were a burden, especially child at the time, but just one. But yeah, I would say I have a support system, but not the whole bring the grandkids over support system. Yeah,
cool. So when you said Germantown, we met through Nia. How did you get Nia fall into your life?
Nia and I went to high school together.
Okay, cool. The first time I went out to Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia, I was like, what or where am I at? The roads are different. And that was a little drive, but I just wanted to talk about how we got connected.
Yeah, I remember the Lord has very unconventional ways of bringing people into my life.
Okay.
And you were very much in an unconventional way. Nia DM'd me and said, she texted me. She said, hey, I have this friend. His sister just had a baby. At the time, I was practicing as a doula.
Okay.
And I think your sister had just had a baby. And you were asking for resources for her in her postpartum period. And then, you and I got connected.
Yeah.
I don't practice as a doula anymore. I still have my certificate. That was a very bright time in my life. I just don't have the availability to do it anymore. It literally, it is very much an act of service doing that job. But it took a lot out of me, especially now where I'm literally on my own as a single parent of 2. So I don't have the availability to go and, go to hospitals at 2:00 in the morning and, pop in and do births. But yeah, that's how you and I met when I was doing that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I love meeting people, and then it's sort of weird feeling, but when someone asks me, do I know someone, and I don't know the person, and then I get to meet someone else through trying to figure out the resources for another person, especially people that can add value to my life. And I feel like you would be a great arsenal in my life for that resources people need.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, no problem.
I give resources that I've used for myself and that I know that works. I mean, I don't create the resources, so I don't take credit for anything that I'm able to, point someone in the direction of. But if I've used it and it works, I'm more than happy to share what I know.
No gatekeep.
Right. No gatekeeping. I don't gatekeep.
So you talked about you had a lot of what'd you say, dead end jobs?
Mm-hmm.
What were some of those jobs that you did?
I tell people all the time, I am a jack of many trades, but a master of none. So dead end job wise, my first real job when I became a single mom, I worked as a debt collector in a call center for student debts.
Wow, you're one of those.
It was horrible, but it paid good money at the time. It paid my rent that was only $600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, and it got the job done. So I worked there. I think after that, I worked at another call center. Worked at Comcast for a while, and then I worked as a leasing agent at an apartment complex.
I did that in college.
Really?
Yeah, I lived there and worked there, so it's kind of weird when
I couldn't live there.
Oh, okay. Because it was mostly I don't know if you've ever been to Rowan in Glassboro, New Jersey.
Mm-mm.
So it's like apartment complex right next to the college.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a revolving ending door of college students going there. So you're walking to class and be like, "Do you work in the office?" I'm like, yeah. It was like, I've been calling you because your rent's due, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't talk to you." So it's kind of awkward when you ran into those problem tenants when you're working in the main office.
It's funny. I actually met my youngest son's dad at that apartment complex. So yeah, I worked there, and then and then I got a big girl job at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So I worked there for a couple of years.
Is that the health insurance? Okay.
And then COVID happened. I was able to make money off of fitness at the time. So I got my personal training certification and a certification in nutrition.
Muscle butt.
So I did that for the extent of COVID. And then at the tail end of COVID, I got pregnant with my youngest son.
Okay.
And then when I got pregnant with him, I stayed home for a while. And then I just got another call center job. And then that call center job segued into basically where I am now. I work in human resources.
Okay.
A job that literally the Lord gave me, because you cannot get that kind of job without a degree. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, unless the Lord will always make a way, but He made a way for me. But yeah, I should not have that job whatsoever, but it has paved the way for a lot of things that I'm able to do now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it. How did God work His magic or His magic and get you into that position that most need a degree for?
So the last call center job I was working from home call center. So I had the whole call center set up in my house, which was horrible.
Oh, it was a work from home.
It was a work from home call center job. Yes. I had 2 monitors, the keyboard, the phone, like very much traumatic. Like it was, I couldn't stand that job. So much that amongst other things in life, I had just had a baby. I went back to the call center job 3 weeks after having my youngest son.
3 weeks?
Well, yeah, I hadn't been there long enough to have maternity leave.
Wow.
So I knew if I stayed out any longer, I wouldn't be paid. So I'm literally, I have my headphones in, my headphones on, talking to customers, breastfeeding my newborn at the same time.
Super mom.
Hi, this is Shay. How can I help you today? So that went on for about a year. I was home with him. And I went out on medical leave of absence because I had talked to my OB, and she was just like, yeah, you have postpartum depression. Like, you need to take a break. So life hit me with that. And I said, all right, I'm taking this break. I wasn't going to be paid because that job still had horrible benefits. but I knew I can't even function doing daily things because of how my mental was at that time. So I said, I'm going to take this time to figure out what I want to do next. And if I'm not given direction on what I want to do, where to go next, okay, I'll go back to the job after my leave is over. At that time as well, life was hitting me. It was being a mom, relationship I was in was coming to an end, essentially ended, but we were still living together. I went on LinkedIn and I did a 30-day trial on LinkedIn. And I said, let me figure out what the big girls are doing on here, because all the big girls are on LinkedIn and they have LinkedIn profiles and headshots and things like that. I took a headshot with my iPhone and I posted it on LinkedIn. One thing that I've always been able to do is talk my way into a job. Okay. I can talk my way into a job. I'm very much skilled on that. I'm looking up TikTok videos on how to answer questions and this role and that role and all the things. So a job gets posted for a nonprofit organization. I don't even know what nonprofit organizations do at the time. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And then it said like something about like benefits in there. I'm like, okay, I worked in health insurance. Like I think I can do that. Mm-hmm. And the salary, I looked at, I'm like, sis, you don't make over $28,000 a year. I don't know what you think you're doing right now, like applying for this job, but yeah, I'm like, people make that kind of money. Like, so I applied. I'm like, all right, we just, and it was a temp position.
Okay.
So if anybody, know about temps, but typically they give you like a contract period of like 3 to 6 months. Hey, if maybe you can impress the manager that you're working with and they'll hire you full time.
So you worked for a company and then another company paid you the check? Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I got the interview by the grace of God. I got that interview and then I got hired. Still don't know how. My manager, still to this day, she was just like, I just saw something in you. You wanted to learn. That's all. Like, I just wanted somebody that wanted to learn, that didn't come here and wanting to know it all or already had all their stuff together. I need somebody to be part of my team that wants to learn. I said, yeah. I mean, you just show me what to do and I'll do it. Because honestly, a lot of these jobs are you can be trained. Like if you have the transferable skills, just go ahead and apply for the job. So she said she saw something and I said, all right, we're going to try this out. And then I've told this story a couple of times, but during my contract period of being at that job, again, I told you that my relationship at the time was dwindling, essentially dead. I got into this job. Now I'm making money. Now I'm like, wait, I don't need that man.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty sick. But yeah, I've said, wow, wait, I don't need this person like to help me. And then there was a voice that kept saying, the voice said, no, you have me. No, you have me. I don't know what that means. Like, what? Okay. So we'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, so I get into the contract period. I'm starting to make money. The girls that know, if you're in that position, you stashing, right? So I'm stashing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. So still scary. I ended up putting a deposit down on a place, packing my things. I'm getting ready to go. It comes time for me to leave, like a week before my move-in date. My car at the time has no AC. I'm like, but it's summertime. I have 2 kids. I can't drive around with no car, with no AC. So I'm like, I said I gotta get a new car. I have to get a new car. I have to move, all the things. So I ended up getting a new car because there was no way around that. And then other things happening with the car. So I got a new car. I moved into my apartment. I probably sat on the floor for a good 2 or 3 months. Like we didn't have any, furniture, living room furniture. I did get the kids' beds, but anyway. And then the organization that I'm working at the time, we're having a huge financial strain on the company. If you know anything about nonprofit organizations, we work strictly off of directed donations that come from people that just support the cause.
Okay.
So donations weren't coming in, and the CEO's like, hey, we have to do a reduction in force. First people to go are what? People that we didn't hire you to really be here. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my job. At that time, I think there's about 50 temps that work in the entire organization. It was myself and another temp that got hired as permanent positions at the end of the reduction in force.
Nice.
So, and on top of that, I got a promotion. So they gave me a higher title. And this is what, about a month into my apartment. And yeah, I think that's about it right now. So now I travel for work. I go to the other side of the country to travel to our other offices. My kids are, they're happy, healthy. I'm financially stable, and I didn't need anybody else on this earth to help me do it.
To backtrack, would you say you need me, or I'm him, or what was that?
I am.
What was that?
I am him too. But that's funny.
What was that
so
whisper?
When I'm saying in my head, when I'm saying out loud that, wait, it's been a while since I've been on my own, and I thought I needed this man to help me, and support me. This voice was saying, no, you just need me. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, I found I was saved. I found a church. And yeah, it was God the whole time, just like setting a very unconventional path that I had no clue or understanding of, which we never will understand his ways or why he does what he does. But it was God the whole time.
That's cool. I'm still working my way with God. I'll say we have it's like a love relationship, but it's just my time. It's like, do I have the time to go to church or get closer with him? And then one of the guests was like, well, church is on the laptop now, so you have no excuses. And I'm like, they got me.
I have something to say to that.
Okay.
On how I got where I am, I guess, right now spiritually. I said the same thing. Mm-hmm. I got 2 kids. I'm working also part-time at a gym on Sundays. I said, I don't have time to go to church, right? So, and at the time, I'm still gym heavy, by the way, because that's definitely my coping mechanism. Go to the gym, grind it out, and, think about whatever's stressing you out later. But God had a very funny way. I met my pastor in the gym.
Wow.
I met my pastor in the gym. I'm minding my business. And this guy was training with his trainer, and he can't do pull-ups. Sorry, PM. I apologize. I'm calling you out. He can't do pull-ups. I'm like, this dude can't do pull-ups. I'm like joking. Mm-hmm. So he approaches me. He's like, hey, like, do you go to school around here? I'm like, school? I said, you think I'm a college kid? And he's like, well, yeah, like, what school are you going around here? I said, all snobby, very rude, very rude. Very rude. But I'm like, no, like, I had 2 kids. I don't have time to go to nobody's school. Well, then that was the end of that conversation. He approached me again. He said, hey, like, my bad for, like, if I, made you feel away. Like, you're just really young. So I just thought you were in college. I said, no. He said, hey, my name is Pastor Mark, and I pastor a church called Discover Church in Lower Marion High School. I want you to come check it out. At the time, I was every once in a while, I'll log in virtually to this church called Enon Church. I think they're in like Cheltenham, Philly. They're really big, one of those mega churches. Again, a place where I get lost in. Like, I don't know why I'm gravitating to places that I know I can get lost in the sauce. And that also may be a coping mechanism as well, because if I go to places that are huge, nobody's going to notice me. And that's okay. Nobody's going to talk to me. I don't have to worry about the stress of somebody like coming up to me and trying to start a conversation. So that might also be that as well. But yeah, he's like, well, we're not as big as that church, but I want you to like come and check us out. Like, you said you have kids, come bring them. There's a place for them to go while you worship. So I said, all right, we're gonna try this out. Like, it's no, harm in it. And then how it worked out as well is that the church is literally across the street from the gym. So I went to work on Sunday morning. I only have to teach like an hour class.
Okay, what do you teach?
I teach a cardio class.
Okay. Like HIIT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I strictly just do it for the membership. Okay. If anybody wants a hack, get a part-time job at a gym and you can get the membership for free. But it's Lifetime Fitness, and their gym membership is like $200.
You said Lifetime?
Yeah, it's like $200 a month. I don't have money to pay that, but I'll work for you guys if you give me a membership for free. So yeah, yeah, exactly. So I went there. I worked out there. I'll teach my class on Sunday mornings, and then I was able to just go change my clothes and go right across the street to the church, and it's been history ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't missed a Sunday. Probably about 2 Sundays because I had to work or travel, but that was it.
I'm about like 2,354 days of not attending church. Well, we'll get there. What's the church? I know you said you're getting highly involved. We had a small conversation. What is your role in the church?
Right. So this is actually the first church that I felt led to serve.
Okay.
So doing something in the church. Now, as I'm growing up, I'm thinking serving the church is one of those ushers that wear the white gloves. Here's your seat here. And that was never appealing to me. But I'm like, oh, there's cool jobs in churches now. Okay. So yeah, my pastor noticed that, hey, you have social media, like you do stuff. I said, oh, buddy. I said, I just do this for fun, just for kicks and giggles. He's like, no, but like we need that. We need that. He's a very encouraging pastor. He will see your gifts and definitely point you in the right direction on how to use them to serve the Lord and serve his people. So he said, you can do social media at church. And I said, I can do that at church? Are you sure? He's like, yeah. He said, make some videos, like, point your camera around, do your thing. But so yeah, I am on the social media communications team at Discover Church. And I make videos for them.
I feel like in any type of organization, it takes a community to do things. And everybody has a role to play, even though people are like, there's nothing I could do. Mm-hmm. It's like, as a community, we'll find something for you to do. So I'm glad that social media manager, you found your role in a community where you could play your part and make an impact.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things as a community. You want to make an impact in what you do. Cool. So we have your career is all set up. Your religion is all set up. Is there anything outside
my relationship with Christ?
Your relationship with Christ. See, one thing I like about we had a brief conversation on the phone yesterday. I like learning, and I have to get around people about let me rephrase that. I like to be around people where I'm constantly learning. So you say correction me, de-checking me, whatever how people want to tell you. I love that because it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a term.
Well, religion tends to put people off. Religion, when you think of religion, you think of rules. You think I have to follow this. I have to do this. I have to move a certain way. I have to talk a certain way. When a relationship is Christ, it's just that. It's a relationship. It's very personal. It is catered to you. Like you say, I don't know if I'll have, time to do it or whatever have you. The Lord has a very divine way of gripping you up from wherever you are and finding you, because the Lord's never lost you. And, he was always there. It was you that was lost in the first place. So, a lot of people have to go through very wild encounters for the Lord to find them. And he definitely gripped me up and said, all right, I'm picking you up from wherever you at, and I'm dropping you because you're not moving the way I need you to move. So I'm going to pick you up wherever you're at, and I got to put you through some stuff. I got to shake things up a bit in order for you to have a relationship with me.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm about to use the correct term now. So you have your career set up.
Yes.
Your relationship with Christ is set up.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do for fun, or you could say for you, in this life we have?
I get asked this question, that because that question always comes up if you're going on a date or something, right? And I am always completely honest, and I say, being a mom is honestly my entire personality, and I have no shame in that. It may be cliche, it may sound like, oh, like, all she wants to do is be a mom, but I really like being a mom. Like, I really like being a mom. My kids have really shaped me into the person I am today. My oldest taught me a lot about just growing up and maturing, obviously, because I had to do that to be a mom and to be an example to him. My youngest taught me patience, taught me to pay attention more, taught me to slow down. But yeah, I love being a mom. I love finding interest in the things that interest them. Like my son now is interested in science. I was never a science whiz. Okay, I didn't like school at all anyway. But now I'm like, oh, I can find interest in that. So like he's teaching me things. I'm like definitely feeding those interests. He wants some STEM sets and things for Christmas coming up. Some STEM classes. So I'll be doing that. He also likes sports and he likes winter sports and things like that. So I find interest in things that they do, as cliche as it sounds. It's really fun. It's like living life through your kids, which is fun. But if I do anything on the side, I like to read. I spend a lot of quiet time alone. I go on hikes. I do like the outdoors, not necessarily the cold. And I like going to the gym.
Cool. So again, in our short term of knowing each other, I've been corrected. All right, well, can we say corrected? We could be honest. I've been corrected on my word choices. So I've noticed on social media, I used the word autistic with your son, and you corrected me and said neurodivergent.
Correct. He's neurodivergent.
Okay.
So does he have autism? Yes, but it's kind of like, when you like point, like, hey, look at that autistic kid. That's not, we want to avoid, using that kind of terminology. But yeah, so my son was diagnosed with autism officially when he was 2 years old. I noticed signs probably a little after his first birthday. That's probably what a lot of people that know me now know me from, my journey with him and my youngest son and his neurodiversity journey and being diagnosed and how we're going through that journey of, tools and resources for him, how he started, like how he has progressed. But yeah, for the most part, it's a speech. It started off as a speech delay.
Mm-hmm.
He now does talk. He will sing. He knows numbers. I'm low key thinking he knows another language at times when I'm like, what did you just say? But yeah.
I give props to all single moms because I don't know if I could be a single dad. For the guests watching that are single moms, what's something that I guess drives you to be this amazing mom that you are with 2 kids in this life?
I think being a mom heals my inner child. I try to be to my children. I'm gonna use my words carefully because my mama will let me watch it. I love you, Mom. But like as parents, like I would hope that my kid wants to be a better parent than I was, and so forth and so forth. Because we gotta learn. We gotta learn from our mistakes. But I just try to be what I think I needed more as a child. Granted, my mom was also a single mom as well. Like we just gotta thug it out, and most single moms, you start off living in survival mode. So I learned from my first child, and then I do better with my second child. But yeah, what thrives me is just their happiness. Like I think I communicate very well with my oldest. He communicates very well with me, like what he doesn't like, what makes him feel a certain way. I think I listen to him very well, and he gives me feedback. He gives me good feedback, constructive feedback. I don't want to say it's good all the time. That's completely fine. But what thrives me is definitely just seeing their faces. That's it.
You shared a lot with us, and again, I appreciate you sharing this information. Is there anything you could go back and tweak, change, or adjust just a little bit?
Nope. Because it's almost like life played out. Say I wrote all of what the happenings of my life, and I knew it was God. Now I know it was God the whole time. And imagine me saying to God, "Well, God, I mean, you could have changed this. It wouldn't have panned out the way it was supposed to." everything worked out and is working out for his will. Like I know I've found what I need to be doing. As long as I'm intuitive and to hearing from him, he'll continue to direct my path. And I know for sure it's him when it's something I would never do. When it's a direction I would never go in. I texted about 3 people over the course of this week, like, I don't know why he's telling me to go to a podcast or to talk. And I said, I have no clue why he wants me here. I have nothing to say. You've had such great people on here that sell wonderful things and candles and services. And I'm just like, well, God, what do you want me to do here? He's like, well, I mean, you ask on a daily basis for opportunities to talk about me. So here you go. Here's an opportunity. I said, all right, I can chat about you all day. All right. But yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. Keep doing your thing. So.
And then lastly, what are you looking forward towards the future of the decisions Miss Knox is gonna make?
I gotta bring them up again.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I have overarching goals of where I will want to be. But I gotta run them through the big guy upstairs first. I'm just looking forward to that. Like, I'm excited. It's all like when things don't work out how they're supposed to work out lately, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. That's why you got something bigger for me? Okay, that's cool, big guy. If a dating situation doesn't work, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But okay, you got another big boy for me. That's lit. I'm ready for that. So yeah, I am just excited to see what he does. I'll write things down, and hopefully that's being, ran through God first, and he'll tell me what to do and go next. But
if someone is still hesitant on finding that relationship with God, what do you think, or what's a recommendation you would give them to get that next step?
Show up.
Ooh.
Moses and his people showed up to a huge sea. And they're like, God, you told us you freed us. You told us to go this direction, and you bring us to a sea. You want us to get in there and swim. What do you want us to do? They said, all right, you showed up. Thank you. And literally parts the Red Sea. So all he wants you to do is just show up. That's how I try to wake up every single day. I said, God, I don't know what you're going to do with today. I'm grateful for your hand. I don't want to do or be a part of anything that doesn't have your hand on it. But I'm going to show, but I want to show up. And I pray that I'm showing up with, a posture, a heart posture to receive whatever, happens today. It may not go exactly as planned, but it's going to go according to your plan. And I'm okay with that. So just show up. He'll open the door as long as you walk up to it, and go from there.
Sounds great and amazing. So if someone wanted to contact you to build that relationship with God, how could they contact the church of the social media that you're in charge of?
You can contact Discover Church, the Discover Church. It's on all platforms. We're in Lower Marion High School, in Lower Marion, Pennsylvania, close to Ardmore section. Philadelphia, honestly, is very easily accessible. But yeah, my name is Shay Knox on all platforms as well. So if you just want to hit me up, I don't have anything to sell or service, but if you need anything, I'm here.
Sounds good. Well, again, I appreciate you for stepping out of your comfort zone and sharing your stories. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. See you on the next one.